Recently, I spent 24 hours playing Theme Park Tycoon 2. I built this huge aquatic castle in the middle of the ocean, getting attacked by a kraken. And you guys really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed building it. So I'm back. And this time, I'm going to spend another 24 hours inside of Theme Park Tycoon 2, which will put the total playtime on this park up to 50 hours inside of Theme Park Tycoon 2. Well, technically 48 hours, but 50 hours. This is what we managed to build in the first 24 hours, and I am really loving it. But first things first, there's a few things we did change. So first of all, I'm gonna get rid of this stupid coaster. I mean, the coaster itself, I mean, isn't that great. It's alright, but I think it really just detracts from the build. It doesn't really add anything, so yeah, but I'm gonna delete it. There we go. It is fully deleted. Yeah, look at that. We have so much more space to build with now. Does mean I'm gonna have to fill up these gaps though, right here. Actually saying that, let's get rid of these particle emitters right here. Much better. And now we can literally just look through the entire island. So I'm really quickly just going to block that up. Yeah, I think that looks a lot better. And the next thing I want to change up is the water. At the moment, we have pretty fake water going on. It is literally just primitives. So then using the foil texture, I'm going to delete it and actually replace it with real water. So let's just get rid of that. Get rid of that. Every single piece of water, just like so. Because I now know how to actually place the real water in. You may remember that every time I just place water in, it will just glitch out. But you guys have let me know that all I needed to do to fix that was literally just dig down 2 blocks like that. It was that simple. I feel very stupid, but I'm gonna dig down 2 blocks. And you know what? I'm not just gonna dig down and have like a flat ocean floor. I might actually try to gradually all the way down really deep, because I think that will make it look really sick. Why not start the video off with a cool little terrain montage. Let's hit the time lapse, baby. Okay, like an hour later, and this is what it's looking like. I've lowered down all of the terrain all the way to the bottom of the world. And this is as far as we can go. And then I made this sort of like rock wall here, and then just copy and pasted it all around, and it looked very odd. So then I added these massive chunks of rock on top of it and tried to mix it up a bit. And I mean, it looks a bit better, but it's, to be honest, it does look pretty bad. So I think how we can make it look a bit better, before we finish it and add the water in, I think we should add some coral on the rocks. Because I mean, there's coral all on this building, and if we nab bits and pieces of it like this one, and just like whack it here, but place them separately one by one all around this entire area right here, I think it should look pretty good and distract from the wall a bit. I do want to use some of the coral that we made on the castle so that it does have a little bit of consistency, but I also want to make some more coral so we have a bit more of a variation. So I think I'm going to use the wedge piece right here. I think there was this coral that I saw in this park that I toured quite recently by Tats Tots, and they used like a whole bunch of coral in their build, and what they did is just like stack the wedge pieces like that. So I think what I'm gonna do is just yank that design and just build something out of it. So I really should probably grab some reference images, but oh well. I'm just gonna make something completely random and hopefully look something like a coral. And I'm actually gonna make a few of these, and I'll see you in a second. Okay, just a few minutes later, and I've cooked up some pretty nice looking corals, I think. A lot better than the ones we built for the castle, I'll tell you that much. So I think we'll probably just go over the entire castle as well. We've got some kelp and some seaweed right here, just using some cones and some like cylinder primitives, and these are using the wedge pieces. I've got this nice coral like fan, and then this is just like a circular coral bit that can stick on the side of walls, like that one over there. And I got this like flowery one using a whole bunch of hexagonal primitives, and I got this tall one. Yeah, nothing crazy. Let's add them to the entire side of the wall of the, what would you even call this, the ocean bed? Yeah, I guess so. That makes sense. So let's get to it. Let's grab this red one. We can whack it just right up here, and then we can probably add another one towards the bottom as well. And then let's just change this to like blue, why not? And yeah, I'm just gonna do this. It's gonna take a while, but I'm gonna catch you when we've done quite a fair bit of it. So let's get coral in. Okay, I've only built the coral all the way up to here, so not that much. Oh, we've done a fair bit. So I'm starting to get pretty low on money, which is not good at all. But you know what? I really like this. It's turned out a lot better than I thought. But the only thing is that it is really boring to build, especially since I placed all of these one by one, just so it looked like I didn't copy and paste the entire thing. I've also got like these seaweed and kelp patches. We got a huge one over here. And I also made it so that it goes above the water, so we get a little bit of detail above the water. Actually, talking about the water, let's why not add it in. There we go. And look at that. Yeah, I really like the kelp coming out the water like that. That looks nice. I don't know about these coral pieces. Actually, I might need to lower these. There we go. That's better. And yeah, look at this now. This is looking way better with the actual realistic water. And let's actually take a dive right under the water, see how it looks. Ooh, this looks actually really cool, especially this area of the coral. But now we have all this goofy looking coral all over this castle, and I think we need to change that just by bringing over all the coral that we just made and just adding it all over the castle. So goodbye ugly coral, and hello new coral. Hopefully this looks better. I think it probably should. Yeah, look at that. These ones just look so thick and it's just like weird looking about them. So I'm gonna go through each and every single one of them, replacing them. So coral here, coral there, coral back here, right here, up here, under here, one down here, and here. Maybe one tucked in here. Actually some on this bridge as well. And some really big seaweed at the bottom of this tower. And I think it would actually be cool if we add some seaweed just coming out the ocean right here, up against the supports of this bridge. Yes, look at this. Okay, there are so many coral pieces and seaweed pieces that I want to add. Like, literally so many. So if I just clap my hands like this, and here we go. I've replaced all the coral and placed down a whole bunch of seaweed and the kelp literally everywhere. Not only on the front as well, on the back. And I think it looks pretty nice. There is a lot of seaweed. Not sure how I think about that. So let me know in the comments. Like, there's seaweed on the grass. I don't know how that works. But I mean, there's literally coral on the grass as well. So I don't think we need to question the seaweed. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this. The new coral definitely looks a lot better for sure. But I'm not entirely done with the castle just yet. I want to retexture basically the entire thing. Not really the castle itself, but more the terrain and the tentacles. Like, the tentacles are right now, they're plaster, but I think they could probably look a bit better if they were like basalt. I think that looks a lot better. It's nothing crazy, but it can help a lot. There you go, that's the other tentacle done, and I quite like it. But I actually want to also use basalt again, because look at that texture. It looks really nice and smooth. We can also dibble-dabble a little bit of limestone in there as well. Look at that. So I'm now just going to paint the entire island just basalt. I might leave a few pieces of rock in there because the rock doesn't look too bad, but for the most part it's just gonna be basalt now. Also, do not ask where the $1.4 million came from. I don't know, it just like sort of appeared in my account. What? I definitely did not spend any money on this game. No. Okay, there we go. I've now just finished changing up all of the textures on the entire island from rock to basalt, and I think it looks pretty nice. I hopefully didn't miss any spots though. But that was all I really wanted to do. Nothing drastic, literally just changing a few textures. But I actually put out a community post asking you guys what you'd like to actually see in this park. And you guys commented a bunch of cool ideas. And I picked out a few of the ones that I really liked and I think could really fit in this park. The first one comes from Laura YT. And they said, what about adding a pirate ship getting attacked by the kraken? That actually is a sick idea. Thank you so much, Laura, for commenting that. And I think it would look really cool if we have the pirate ship right here. Well, I might not do a pirate ship. I might do like a fishing boat because I like the look of fishing boats. And it'll probably be a lot easier to build. But imagine having a fishing boat right here, little small one, and then a huge kraken mouth just under the water, as if it's about to just swallow the entire thing up. I think that would be so sick, and I think we can pull it off, hopefully. So let's get started. First of all, I think we should build the kraken's mouth, so let's get rid of all the water right here. For that, let's actually mark out where the boat's gonna be. That would probably be good. I think the boat should be like here, and then it could be like about that big. Literally, it's very tiny. I really want the kraken to feel huge. Yeah, that's good. I sort of want to build the kraken's mouth from Pirates of the Caribbean, so we could probably do something like that. And then this will be like the bottom of the mouth, and then I need to sort of arch it up like that just a little bit, so where we can actually put the teeth in. Okay, I think these like donut rings, and then just scaling them up and pushing them back like this might do the trick. I don't know. I've never actually tried to build a kraken's mouth before. I think the hole's too big though. I might need to squeeze the hole down a bit. Okay, I'm hoping something like this could work. And now I'm going to paint it purple just like the other kraken tentacles are. And now it's time for the teeth. There's going to be a lot of teeth. And I think to do this, what we can use are I think just cylinders and then just put cones on them. Wonder if we could use like that where there's two cones to just make it a bit more pointier. I think that works, you know. I'm now just going to rotate all of these around because I'm recording this like a few days after the recent update where we got improvements to the item limits, and we're going to have so many teeth in here. The new and improved item limit is going to be so helpful. I didn't expect it to take that long and to be that that difficult. But there are all the teeth in, and for some reason they're all going at an angle, sort of in a spiral, which means I'm gonna have to do them all again. And I'll leave that for later, I guess. First things first, what does it actually look like with the water in? You're great. You can't see it. Are we able to, like, raise this up at all? Okay, we are. Let's see what it looks like with the water now. Oh, I really wanted you to be able to see the teeth. Oh, have a think about it. Maybe I can think of something. But now we have to build the boat. Okay, I just spent like nearly 2 hours building up a little fishing boat. You're probably wondering why we're in a completely different park. And that's because I was just gonna practice building a fishing boat, but then I didn't, and I just built the real thing. And I gotta say, I really like how this has turned out. It's not done, obviously. There's a whole lot of details left to do, but the scary part is over, which was building like the main hull of the ship. This is like the first time I've actually probably built a fishing boat or any boat in this game, and that's simply because of the hull. This part of the ship scares me, because not only do you have to angle it inwards, but you also have to like pull it back at this sort of angle. But I thought I'd give it a go, and I think I did a pretty decent job at it, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. But now it's time for the not so scary part, and that's adding all the little details on this fishing boat, like all the lining up here. I don't know what they're called, but of course like the actual fish net. Maybe we could add some stuff in the back here, and obviously some details on like this main part of the boat here. So let's just get started. I actually want to focus up here on all the fishing net sort of stuff going on. This part right here is the actual net, so let's actually build ourselves for that net. So we have a little bar right here, and then we have like a little, like, basically like a bag. We could just straight up just use a sphere. It is of course like made out of rope, so we could do some little details around it. So by adding like these cylinder pieces around the sphere, just like that. And then if we get rid of the sphere, we have something that looks like this. So you can probably tell that that's a bag, hopefully. And then for the wiring, it's pretty simple. We can just do like a nice white. So I think these sails would be just the normal wood color. Then like these pulley things could be like the silver metal color. And then I would like a little ladder going up this sail. I do want something at the top right here, so it doesn't just end abruptly. Something like that actually isn't too bad. And then I think there are some more of these like wire things. I don't know what they're actually called. It's probably a really simple name for them, and I just don't know. And they just come all the way down here to the side of the boat. And there are actually like a pile of ropes back here. I'm not entirely sure how I'm gonna do that, because if I just did a whole bunch of swirls, it would just look like a mess. Not really a bunch of ropes, so we could maybe just whack a whole bunch of barrels at the back. Why not? And then we could go a step further and actually make just these 3 barrels look like they're open with fish coming out of them. I mean, come on. Right, okay, you're gonna have to give me a second with this then. Okay, a few minutes later, I've got some fish in the barrels. I think that looks really nice. All I did was I used my fish that I made in this blueprint pack right here. You can see it just over there. And I just copy and pasted it and changed a whole bunch of the colors. I think, to be fair, it actually looks pretty nice. I think all I want to do is actually just quickly detail this main bit up right here, which is sort of the helm of the boat, which hopefully won't be too tricky. I'll just cut to when I finish it, because I'm a lock-in. Okay, and about 10 minutes later, I think we are pretty much finished with the boat. So I just added a few windows, a door, and a front window shield, which is kind of important. And then a trim going around the entire top bit, and also like this open bit at the top. And I just gotta say, I absolutely love this build. And I know I say this a lot, but this might just be my favorite build I've ever built. Yep, I've said it. I just can't stop looking at it. So let's get it into the ocean. Oh my days, look how insane this looks whilst loading in. Oh, I'm stuck under the ground. Oh. Get me out! Okay, let's see if we can get this in somehow. I forgot about the fact that it's gonna be on grid. I would have liked to at an angle, but oh well. And it's floating. Oh dear. Oh, I need to lower this now. Oh, this is gonna be a pain to lower. Okay, that should be a lot better. So let's place it in. Yeah, that's a lot better. I'm really happy of this. Okay, the boat's finished. We need to fix this freaking kraken. So I'm thinking the way that we can make it so you can actually see the teeth from under the water is literally adding some teeth onto the ridges of the kraken like this. So let's just see how this looks. Oh, yeah. Okay, you know what? It is a bit better. Having the teeth coming out of the water might actually be the way to go, because look at this. What I think we should do is add some tentacles and just attacking the boat and just all over the place like they have minds of their own. But I think we should paint it a different color than purple so that it feels like a different kraken, because it'd be really weird having this massive tentacle and then just a whole bunch of dinky little ones. I don't feel like that makes you mucks. I don't feel like that. I don't feel like that makes you. I don't feel like makes you. I can't say this sentence for the life of me. I don't feel like that makes much sense. So I think I'm gonna pretend that the kraken attacking the castle is a completely different one that's attacking the boat. So I think we should color this one that's attacking the boat like a red. Okay, there we go. I painted the entire thing red. Definitely separates it from the other kraken. I've also made it so that it just slowly, gradually goes out like this. It's just so it doesn't look as out of place and odd when you look at it from the underwater. And it actually looks like it's connected to a big, massive kraken. But now we need to build a few tentacles. So I'm just gonna build the first one, which I think will just be coming out from behind the mouth. I think they all do. I'm gonna build all of them separately, just so they don't look copy and pasted, and they all feel like their own entity. But I'm just gonna do a rough shape. I think this one will be like over there, just in the air. And I feel like it'd be cool if this tentacle had its like, well, tentacle on the boat, just sort of like resting on it. Okay, so I'm just gonna really quickly just detail this tentacle, and then just build a few more. That'll just what happened to my voice there. I'll see you in a second. Okay, and after another hour, I've gotten the tentacles in, I painted it all red, I detailed it all up. I'm having too much fun with this. Especially these new glass pieces that were added in the update, because they make for some really good sea foam. I added it all around the boat, really gives it some movement, and I also added it around the tentacles. The only thing is now, is that I've got to get rid of all of my other pieces of sea foam that I have around the entire castle. Like, look at all that, there's a lot. So, see you in a second. Okay, I didn't think it would take that long, and it'll be that tedious, because I think it took us like another hour, because I think we're approaching the 11th hour, which means we are on 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. 35? Hour 35? I don't freaking know, a bit on screen. We got the sea foam up against the beach here. We got the sea foam up against the supports, all around the tower, and literally just everywhere, which took way too long. And then, like, also, you might be able to see, I changed up all of the primitives that were right here. I changed them into glass primitives, because these are supposed to be like water droplets, as if the kraken just came shooting out the water. And then on this side as well, you can see here's a bunch of the water droplets. And not only that, I painted the entire underwater terrain up from grass to rock, just so it looks a bit better. But what I want to do now, I don't know why I have a water bottle there when it's completely empty, is once again head over to the community post, because one of y'all commented a pretty cool idea. This one comes from Incredible Team Aiden, and they said that I should add some particle emitters with bubble images coming out of them, coming out of those underwater volcanic vents. And I think that's a pretty great idea. And I just think it'll just be a nice little detail to spice up the ocean. Just underwater volcanic vents. I think we could do a mixture of images and primitives. So I think let's give it our best shot. That actually isn't bad. Hold up. That works. What I think we should do now is then just whack a little primitive in here just to close up that gap. Okay, here's our little volcano. It's nothing crazy. I think it should be good. Let's add some emitters in now. So I think if we just use some smoke emitters just for an extra little detail, just to show that they're that makes no sense. Okay, you know what? It isn't terrible. You can't see it from the surface, and I think that's alright, because I don't think you ever see volcanic vents coming out of the surface. I think that's fine. I think what we could just do is just whack these glass spheres. Okay, you know what? That works. We just place a whole bunch of them going up like that, like a little bubble column. So I'm gonna do this, and then place a few of them around the ocean, and I'll see you when I'm done. Okay, just literally like a minute later, we've got a few of them in. Just want to see how they look, and I think they look pretty out of place, simply because the entire terrain is just flat. But I think if the terrain matched what we got going on over here, they would work. So I'm gonna keep them. I don't mind them. Right, what I want to do now is something pretty massive, and it is yet another suggestion from you guys. And this one comes from Avery DJ1, and it says I'm pretty simple. You have to add a lighthouse, and I completely agree. I think this is cool and all how having one building, but I think it would be so cool if we have so many other different buildings, and there's just so much going on here that tells a massive story. And I think a lighthouse could be the perfect first addition to more buildings. I think right over here is the perfect spot, and I want to go for quite a vintage lighthouse on a bunch of rocks, so this sand terrain ain't gonna cut it. So I guess let's get terraining. I don't know how exactly, but I'm gonna try and come up with something. Literally just the terrain. It could take anywhere between 20 minutes to like 3 hours. So that's why I want to cut to it, and I'll show you what I've got cooked up. So I'll not cooked, cooking. I'm gonna be cooking. What? Okay, actually not that long later, I got some sort of rock wall going on. I have raised the beach up a bit, just a little bit, just to make the lighthouse above the water a bit more. And I transitioned it from the rocks that we've been using over there at the castle, just transitioned it from the square rocks to the very spiky rocks, but also adding some of the square rocks in right there and some of the more smoother, rounder rocks in, just to give it a little bit of variety. And you might be like, wow, not me. How'd you create such cool looking rock wall? Like those spikes. And to that I'd say, I didn't, I stole it. So my previous video, I had 6 builders build a park, but they can't communicate. If you want to check it out, there'll be a little iCard in the corner. But in it, Kizy, one of the builders, actually built a spiky rock using octagonal primitives and pyramids to make this really spiky rock. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, yep, I'm stealing that. And it turns out I just did, so thanks, Kizy. I think they fit in perfectly for what we need. But now we have a lighthouse to build, which I want to build right here on this little peninsula bit. I've got a little reference image. I'm just going to try my best and replicate the lighthouse on there. I know it's a bit of a funny image, but, you know, it's sort of the vibe I want to go with. Okay, so this looks a bit funny now, but I mean, it's literally one panel. But I think if we just quickly group it up, and I'll just connect the pieces as best as we can. Okay, that's just me. Why does this not add up? I perfectly snapped this. They're all just perfectly aligned, and this one doesn't want to connect. That's great. Okay, nearly just forgot to record it, but I fixed it. I just needed to split it up into many more segments, and now I just got to fix these big old gaps. There we go. It is a bit rough around the edges, as you can see. Well, I mean, from afar, it doesn't look too bad. It does sort of look like a mini volcano. I didn't see that coming, but I think once we add like the railings and the actual like lighthouse top bit, it should look less like a volcano. That's the hope, at least. This is also a great way to look at the castle. Look at this. I'm just going to use cylinders for the supports. I think it's a pretty old style like arch ones. Literally an arch like that. And so if we just copy that around a few times, that actually looks pretty nice. And they're just going to be pretty standard railings using cylinders, just connecting like that. There we go. There's the railing done. I think we could literally just use the new glass primitives, all the glass that we're going to need for this main lighthouse bit. So we should just be able to easily just copy and paste these around. And yes, I am aware that the entire lighthouse is blue. Don't worry, that'll be fixed. We had a little cap on the lighthouse. My days, I'm a genius. I added a cone on top and it looks way better. Okay, now that we got all the main parts done, I'm gonna quickly color it, and I think it'll be time to do some details. And you know what? I think that's about finished. I am really happy with this lighthouse. Starting from the bottom, I added a whole bunch of grass around the lighthouse, just to sort of give it a bit more detail and texture. And if you've ever been outside, you'll know that there are places where there's like sand, where the grass grows through it, and that's what I want to try and like convey there. I think it just looks nice, and then we got a nice little gradient going up. We got a nice little blue strip to somewhat connect it to the castle. We got a whole bunch of these birds around the lighthouse, which I think really give it a really ominous and creepy vibe, which is what I want this area to be. I want it to be sort of like complete contrast to the castle, which is really bright and colorful, and then when you flip the camera over to here, this is all dark and gloomy. Oh, gloomy, that's a big word. And I want this place to be like full of shipwrecks, really like pointy, sharp rocks, pretty much just a wasteland of ships. And I want a coaster to go through it. I know, I just got rid of a coaster. What's the bar doing at the top? I know I just got rid of a coaster, but this one's gonna be different. It's gonna be quite a compact coaster, literally just gonna fit in this area, and it is going to be the brand new powered coaster. This one right here. It doesn't need gravity at all, so all you really need to do is make it smooth. And you're talking to the best coaster builder in the game, so I can make anything smooth. Just create a whole wasteland, really. And that is why the lighthouse isn't your red and white bright colors. It's really dark. It's because that's what the vibe I'm trying to go for is for this sort of specific area. So we gotta build us a coaster. Where are we going to have the station? So we're gonna start right here. This is my first official time actually trying to use a powered coaster. And I've forgotten how to build it already. I think it's a pretty basic coaster for the most part. It's just a few swirls. I'm gonna try and think of something real quick. Okay, I cooked up a portion of the track right here, and it has taken me a solid hour just to get this. I'm not even joking. We're actually a few minutes over the hour mark since the last last clip. And all I'm gonna say is that it could be a lot worse. But I can show you what we've got right now. It's just a simple little layout, and I've tried my best to make it as smooth as I can. But right here, we go down into a little spiral right here. I like this. This is smooth. Then I want to do a little airtime hill. I don't know if Powered Coaster has those. And then we go up to... I don't know. Oh, yeah, they're rocks. How did I freaking forget? Then here, and then, yeah, you just go off. That's all I got so far. We literally only have 10 hours left of the challenge. I didn't even realize that. How has it already been 14 hours? So I gotta get a move on. I'm gonna finish this. It'll probably take me another, like, 2 hours. So I'll see you in the morning. Okay, it is the next day, and I have built a pretty nice coaster. I'm really liking this. I've completed the entire layout. It's all finished. Let me show you the POV. Now, it's nothing crazy. This is a powered coaster. It's supposed to be, like, a nice, chill, like, family ride, but I did try to make it as interesting as I can. Like, I haven't changed this bit. You just go down here, like a little spiral. This is like a figure 8 from above, I think it is. Then you got a little airtime hill, and then this goes over to a straight piece that does like a little wibbly wobbly right there, you see? And then you go down, and you turn around. You'll probably be going under a whole bunch of like rocks and arches, and like here, I want like you to go under a shipwreck. And then over here, I really wanted to include the lighthouse, so you go around the lighthouse, and then it ends off just by going down. And then this is probably the worst part. It's just the end bit, because you've got this. Look how close these tracks are. It would be nice to end straight on, but we got this track here, so it's pretty difficult to do that. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with this. I tried to make this as smooth as I can, and it might actually be the first smooth coaster I've ever made. So I'm very happy with that, and it's gonna be so cool seeing the powered coaster go through all the little details that we gotta build right now. First of all, we gotta build all the terrain. I think I've got a pretty good idea of what I want to do, but it's a lot. So I gotta get cracking on it, because we only have like 9 hours left. So with the power of editing, I'm just gonna snap my fingers like this. With now 7 hours remaining, I've only done a little bit of the terrain. I was hoping I'd be able to do a little bit more, but with the amount of money we have and the amount of time we have left, 7 hours left, I don't think that's gonna be possible. But I have placed a bunch of the terrain in, and I really like how it looks. We've got like this spiral bit done down here, a whole bunch of spiky rocks holding up the track right here, and then you go through like this wall, then it'll pop you out on a different side, and then you go over the bridge, and then it'll pop you out through here. You got right here what would be a massive battleship shipwreck. That's right. This ain't gonna be no little dinky fishing boat. This is going to be a proper battleship. And then there'll be like a whole bunch of stuff over here, but I don't think we're gonna have enough time for that today. We'll see. I also changed the colors of the powered coaster. I changed the main body of the entire coaster from brown to sort of an acacia color, like this light orangey wood. I really like it. And then changed the main body of the locomotive and the seats to like this like really dark but light navy sort of color, because we are in like a water themed area with all these shipwrecks around. What I want to do now though is actually build a little wooden bridge here, because I mean realistically, how are these rocks going to hold up this track? Yeah, exactly. I'm just gonna follow the track with these wooden primitives real quick. Very smooth bridge, if I have to do say so myself. I think it's time to do the supports. I think we're gonna do some pretty rickety ones as well to go along with the rickety bridge, so give me a second on that. Okay, I just quickly came up with this support design. I actually quite like it. So now if we just group it and copy and paste it, and now I need to actually make these supports touch the ground. There we go, lovely. I feel like we can do a little something to the main part of the bridge, maybe add some railings. And what I definitely want to add is if I just yoink the supports right here, just copy and paste them like this, open up these middle bits, and lower it just enough for the coaster to fit through. I think just about like that. And what I just want to do here is just add a little overhang. Maybe if we use a primitive that I can't find, a prism like that, we can have a little like triangular overhang. Let me detail this up real quick. Okay, just added a few railings to the side of this bridge, and I think it's done. Look at that. I really like it. It's just a little something to make this area a bit more interesting. I think it definitely does that. And now in our final time, with 6 hours left, I'm going to take on the task of building another shipwreck. And it's about double the size of that fishing boat that we built earlier on in the video. And because of how big they are, I think it'll make so much sense to have the biggest ship be the station for this coaster. So that's enough yapping. I'm gonna get straight to it, and I'll update you guys in probably about 5 years from now. I'll see you in a second. Okay, first progress update, and actually, I'm liking this. I didn't think I'd be able to do it, but this hasn't taken that long. I've already gotten this side of the battleship basically done. We've got the little turret at the top. We've got a whole bunch of windows. I've also made it so that the actual body you can see is mainly like navy sandstone, but then in the middle is a bit more of like a mossy algae sort of color. As if you zoom out from afar, they sort of blend together really nicely, and it really feels like a proper underwater shipwreck, even though it's not underwater, but it feels like a shipwreck. But yeah, Very happy with that. So we just need to do the other side. And also, like, the main control center. Oop, that's a rock. But, like, the main control center and everything. Right, let's get cracking. Progress update number 2. We've now extended the battleship, building the command center, or whatever you call this. And oh my days, does it look sick. And I'm blocking it with a rock. Let me get higher. There we go. Look at that. So what I've done is I've added a whole bunch of grass just to get a little bit of texture and detail, make it feel overgrown. I've added a whole bunch of like spheres on it to like algae. I built all of these buildings on it. I just tried to replicate what would actually be on a battleship, and I really like it. But we're not done. We need to do the beehive of the ship, the back, which shouldn't be that difficult. I'm just more worried about the train clipping into it, so that would not be good. So I'm gonna lock in. I'll see you when I've done that. And there we go. That is the entire battleship finished. And oh man, do I love it. I genuinely love this. I didn't think I was gonna be able to build the first boat in this video, let alone build an entire another boat and it'd be a battleship. So yeah, very happy with this. We still do have like an hour or so left, so what I'm gonna do in that time is place down a whole bunch of rocks, hopefully make the battleship not look as if it's floating. So you know what, I'll see you when we're finished. And that is going to be it for today's video. I'm so happy with what we were able to do today. And I can't stop looking at this battleship. I can't stop smiling because of it. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do subscribe. This video has taken so long to make. And of course, a huge thank you to my members, which without them, this video would not be possible. So if you want to go that extra mile to support me, become a member for as low as 99p a month by hitting that juicy join button or clicking the link in the description. Let me know if you want a part 3. That's gonna be it.